When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, B.J. Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hi, guys. This is Naismith Rains here, or Bronco Nation News here, and this is my brother Nelson. Say hi, Nelson. He says hi. So today we're going to be talking about Boise State football, and before we do that, big shout out to all the sponsors. Row Painting does good painting. Lithia Ford does have good cars. You should buy one there. And ICCU is a great bank, and my dad got good sunglasses there from them. So big shout out to them once again, and we have a special guest. Hi, Jay Tust. How
What's
you doing?
up? I'm good, Naismith. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm stoked that you finally have taken over the show for your dad. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
How'd the Cards do last night? My Mariners didn't do so well.
They did really good. They were losing 5-0, then they came back 7-5.
Who had a good game for them? Who? Naismith. Who did well for the Cards?
I would say Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, that's another shot at the Mariners. The Mariners gave you guys Tyler O'Neill. I hope you enjoy him. Okay.
What? By the way, guys, my dad's a YouTuber. If you guys don't know that.
Should people go follow him on that? Hit the like button.
Guys, hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube. Here's my dad, guys.
Well done, Naismith. Well done, my man.
All right, how about that?
Big shoes to fill here, Papa Bear.
Yep, last day in St. Louis for a while. Going to be missing my kids, so they wanted to help out and open the show today. So best open that we'll probably have. But
yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, we already got the sponsor reads out of the way. We got the topic for today. We're ready to go apparently. So all right, Jay. Sorry you're stuck with me the rest of the show. How's it going?
I know. I'm kind of bummed about it. Did you tell your son to say that Tyler O'Neill had a good game? So just to rub it in?
No, he's actually that's his favorite player. And I kind of chuckled when he said that because that is his favorite player and just happens to be a former Mariner.
Okay. Well, all right.
Jake Forsyth says he'll renew his prescription for another year. We appreciate that, Jake. Jordan says, how much is your dad paying you guys? Doing a great job. Naismith killing it. Happy Tuesday. I did tease on the show we were going to have two special guests opening, and I said it was not me and Jay, so I was unsure who that was, but no, appreciate it. This is a Tuesday edition of Bronco Nation News Live. We appreciate Naismith and Nelson Rains for helping get us on the air today. We're going to continue our countdown of the 25 biggest questions and storylines of the Boise State football team. But yeah, Jay, you were at a Mariners game last night. I was at a Cardinals game last night. How'd the Mariners fare?
It was not great.
And I don't know. I'm not like asking that to rub it in. I haven't seen this.
No, it was funny. I went with my my best bud growing up, and we got there. We like to do the lap around Safeco just because I hadn't been to a game in like 3 years, man. Like it had been a long time. And so Buxton came up with a runner on in the top of the first, and we're like, hey, let's just stop and watch Buxton. And he had a pitch out opposite field. bomb, put them up 2-0, and the Mariners only scored 2 runs. So, not great. You gamble a little bit by going to Monday games, though, right, BJ? Like,
Oh yeah.
the Mariners didn't have the A team in. Let's just say that. Like,
Come back off a road trip sometimes, or the
yeah,
other team's coming in. Yeah.
And their star rookie Julio Rodriguez, who has started, he's literally missed 1 start this season. Had the day off last night. He pinch hit in the bottom of the 9th, but the kid you want to go see have a few.
Yeah, I wanted to see Pujols last night. He didn't play, and then they have a doubleheader today, and I already see he's in the lineup for Game 1. So it's like, well, of course. But maybe I'll sneak down there this afternoon for a few hours. Don't fly back to Boise till this evening. We'll see. But Cardinals were down 5-0, came back 1-7-5, so we were both able to get some baseball time in. But we were talking. By the way, did you see the announcement, Jay, that they're looking like it's going to be another aircraft carrier basketball game between Michigan State and Gonzaga in San Diego? They also saw yesterday there's going to be the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium. I don't know what it's called these days. It used to be Miller Park. They're going to have a doubleheader with Wisconsin men's and women's basketball playing games in there. Can we get a basketball game on the Blue? What do you think, man? It's probably too cold in November, but like if you could do something on a Saturday at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock where maybe you have a chance, how cool would that to be, an outdoor basketball game on the Blue?
That would be pretty. Is Wisconsin's not any warmer than Boise?
Well, it's an indoor stadium there.
Because they can have an retractable roof.
Miller Park will have the roof closed probably.
Yeah, good
they
point.
Are doing the aircraft. It's in there. I think John Rothstein or somebody said advanced discussions about Gonzaga and Michigan State playing on an aircraft carrier in San Diego, and it just had me thinking, like, can we get is there anywhere in Boise you could play an outdoor basketball game? It would be pretty sweet to have it on the Blue. I just don't know if the timing would work out. Early November outdoors in Boise.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work. You'd have to maybe like an exhibition or something, like when the guy
just pop that up. What about in September, Idaho versus Boise State scrimmage?
That'd be kind of cool. I don't know, but
would anybody come to that? I mean, they can't even sell out the home games as it is.
Right.
Would the uniqueness of playing it on the Blue make some people want to come?
I think it would be cool, but here's the deal: I don't think they can't even start practicing officially until like October.
Yeah, it's like October 1st or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to strike it rich. You'd have to have. I mean, we've had a crazy cold and wet spring, so maybe we get lucky with a warm and dry fall. I don't know. I love the idea of it.
They had soccer there. Maybe you could do a hockey game there at some point. I don't know. If Boise State hockey's big enough, but
I'd almost go in the opposite direction, like the smaller venue thing for Boise State. Like when Idaho and Boise State played over it. The home of the Steelies.
Yep. Now it's called Idaho Central Credit Union Arena or something. I believe.
That would be.
They are trying to get a game. A little birdie tells me that the ICCU would love to have a game with Boise State over there at CenturyLink, so that may happen. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I like the outdoor. I saw the aircraft carrier game. I'm like, I'll make it a doubleheader. Let Boise State and Arizona State play there or something, or let's have another reason. I don't know. Probably won't happen, but I mean, you're going to all that trouble to have an aircraft carrier. Let's get more than one game. But they've had issues in the past with like the wind and the shot and all kinds of stuff. So who knows what'll happen there? But just had me thinking. You got this iconic blue turf, and can you use it for some other way for Boise State athletics?
Yeah, work for Garth Brooks on the Blue.
Yeah, they brought in the international soccer game, right? They brought in green grass for that. So who knows? But I thought that was kind of unique. But the main topic today, as we talk Boise State football, question 24, as we continue our countdown. And Jay, you were on yesterday with us. You're on today, and then you're heading out on a vacation. So we got both your appearances in this week, 2 days in a row. And looking forward to you getting some time off, man. Well deserved. We appreciate you still doing this show while you're away. But it's number 24. Yesterday we talked about some guys that could make some impacts that are new, whether it be transfers. And by the way, I haven't seen if the name has come out yet, but we did see the Andy Avalos bat signal for a recruit this morning, and it had the 2022 hashtag. There's not a ton of high school 2022 still out there. It makes me wonder if maybe they hit that transfer portal. What do you think, Jay?
We talked about having that as a topic on the show. I don't know if we hit it early enough on the list that they would have a chance.
You did say we better hurry up and get that one.
So
It could be a high school. It could be a high schooler. I think they still had a couple guys visiting, but I mean, it did say 2022. But usually, this late in the game, you're talking more transfers than high schoolers. But
and you got about we're sitting right at about 2 weeks before that transfer portal.
I got to look into that, Jay, because you mentioned that yesterday, and I know I think July 1st is like if you're a spring sport athlete to transfer, like you have to enter before. But I don't. I got to look into that to make sure. I think you're right, but I don't know. I don't know if there's an end date. I know there was May 1st. You had to enter the portal by May 1st or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the end date. We got to work on that. But you might be right. There might only be 2 weeks left before you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Or I think it has.
There's got to be some, well, and that's just for immediate eligibility, right? Like that's what
I think
believe.
that was I saw when I looked it up. I saw something for July 1st, which was for like spring athletes that want to play. I don't know. May was for winter and fall, and July 1st was for spring in terms of wanting to be eligible. But I don't know if that's on the back end. You're probably right. There's just so many weird rules. Either way, guys are getting down to the nitty gritty of needing to pick a school here. Schools are running out of scholarships, and you're running out of chances to transfer. And so, either way, it's coming down to the wire. But we talked about it. Running back would be a position they could use. I wonder where else they would look, but I think running back definitely is one. Linebacker potentially, if you could find an impact guy there. We mentioned the edge rushers losing, Shane Irwin now. I don't know if they real quickly pivot there, but there are a couple positions where if there was a transfer, they probably would be interested, and we'll have to wait and see if when that name comes out of it, whether it's a transfer or a high school player.
Yeah. Hey, what if it's like I agree with you, by the way. I would look at probably running back, linebacker. Maybe you lose Shane Irwin, so maybe you feel like you need to get somebody that has a little more experience to bolster that defensive line back up. Something, maybe something like that. I guess maybe a receiver, if you could find an experienced one. I think Boise State feels okay with what they have in that room. A surprise. What if it would be like a quarterback, though? And the only reason why I say that is because you have Hank Bachmeier, who's a senior, and then Sam Bidlack and Taylon Green are both redshirt freshmen. So that's a little bit of gap between, the top of, eligibility wise and who you have next. And Andy, I know Andy's really big on making sure, those classes are balanced out, right? Like he's often talked about, like, you don't want to lose a bunch of dudes at one position. So you're super old at 1 year and then you're super young for like the next 2 years. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go right there.
Yeah, I don't think any of us expected Jack Sears when he came, right?
Right. I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't think it's a quarterback, but that would be a surprise. Be interesting.
Yeah, no, I think all options on the table. It could again be a late high schooler. We mentioned the guys that transferred. I mean, for a while they were over the scholarship limit, but you've had some guys transfers, guys medically retire. But I guess if they're taking, another guy, they must have got back below the 85 scholarship limit. They did change that rule now too, where there's it's more of a 2-class thing in terms of how many you can sign. You used to not be able to go more than 25 in one class. And now with the transfer portal and new coaches coming in, they've changed that to more of a 50 in 2 years or something. I forget what the rule is, but we'll see. Keep your eyes out. The Andy Avalos bat signal was out there. There is a new commit to the 2022 class, and we'll find out probably today at some point if that player does identify themselves, and we'll find out who it is. But we're talking question again. 25 yesterday was the newcomers, whether it be freshmen or transfers, who can make an impact. Now today, our question is another guy who can make might make an impact, or will he make an impact? And that's Austin Bolt, wide receiver. We teased it yesterday. Obviously a guy with a ton of potential, so much hype coming out of high school, and just has not cracked the lineup other than on special teams. And they had him at tight end. They moved him to defensive line for a couple weeks, and they were kind of just, messing around with him. And finally, it looks like the spot we all thought he should have been at to begin with, wide receiver. He's there. And Jay, whether it be just the fact that he's ready or the fact that they don't have a lot else there in terms of proven depth, it finally looks like Austin Bolt may finally get his chance.
You look at Austin's athleticism, and he's always had success when he's played, particularly at the high school level, right? He reminds me of a kid I went to high school with that he was just like one of those guys that would never have to study at all, and he'd show up on test day and he would ace the thing. Meanwhile, you're over busting it, reading everything for hours the night before, and you don't do as well as him on the test. And then you get to a point where the test gets so hard that you have to put in the time. And so for Austin, he's always been a hard worker, but it just feels like he's never had the time to really understand and learn one position, right? And I feel like he's kind of admitted that. Like, he's had the chance. He was always a great athlete, but he's had the chance to become a good football player at Boise State over the last couple of years, despite the fact most of his work, is kind of being done behind closed doors without much glory. But I mean, he starts as a tight end. They move him over to stud. They move him to wide receiver. I think he played wide receiver at some point in time, even in the beginning of this thing. So having consistency, knowing where he's at going into this year, he's a wide receiver. I think it's going to be a chance for him to have his best year yet. Statistically, it wouldn't take much. It would take a catch to have his best year yet. But it just feels like, with what he brings speed-wise, his length, it certainly seems like he could add something, another dimension to this offense, especially maybe attacking vertically downfield.
Yeah, you had Hank Bachmeier in spring ball using the term, quote, local legend. And I think that, was kind of apropos just about all the hype that he got coming out of high school. I mean, there were a lot of us, Jay, and a lot of fans that thought he'd come in and, make a big impact as a true freshman right away. And then we kind of heard that he wasn't quite big enough, particularly at the tight end position, as you said. They tried to add some weight. He was just kind of buried down the depth chart a little bit. And, Kent Riddle kept saying his time's going to come, and it just for whatever reason it didn't come. But it's taken him a long time. But a little birdie, we know he's fast, Jay. But a little birdie had told me that this spring or recently when they did their miles per hour training, fastest player on the team, 22.55 miles per hour.
Yeah.
He was second only to Khalil Shakir last year, and in the spring testing, 22.55 miles per hour, the fastest player on the team.
Yeah, I mean that remains consistent with what we've heard since the moment he's been on campus. He has been one of the fastest guys since the day he enrolled at Boise State, and he's one of those long stride guys that can eat up yards on you in a hurry. Different kind of speed you feel like than a guy like Khalil, who was definitely quick. But I also feel like not only does Austin need to have his moment, but Boise State kind of needs Austin to emerge. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for him to step into a bigger role and seize the moment, because this offense needs a guy like him. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of I would say Boise State's offense didn't have a ton of success attacking vertically last year. And when you look at what his speed, his length, his jumping ability, I mean, it just feels like Austin could be a guy that, I said it before, adds a dimension to this offense that we haven't really seen, at least in the Andy Avalos, Tim Plow era. So it seems like it's a perfect time for him to see more of the field and seize the opportunity.
And I think he had, two opportunities, in both of them were deep passes down the field.
Yeah.
Both of which were, opportunities to potentially make the catch. But he showed, and so certainly, that deep threat sound, that could just blow by people and have Hank toss it up there because of his size as well. He can go get the ball. But we saw in the spring game, he was catching some over the middle, doing some different things. I don't think he wants to be labeled as just the deep guy.
No.
I do think that is where he could help, because you're right. And the stats better than I don't even think they attempted many deep passes last year.
No, it was a lot of 20 yards and in. And there are things that go into that are hard to probably accurately assess at this point, because with when Hank Bachmeier's dealing with his meniscus injury, maybe you don't have the same drive, or
the offensive line not giving him the time to let those plays develop.
Exactly. So I mean, like, there's lots of things to consider when we talk about not really being able to stretch the field vertically a ton last year. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not super simple, but. Yeah, so if they can get the offensive line, a healthy Hank Bachmeier, somebody they feel confident in throwing the ball downfield, that could be a game changer. And when it comes to that stuff too, BJ, I mean, like, throwing downfield, that takes continuity. Like, it takes working together for a while and knowing where you like the ball and all that stuff. So it was funny. I was here for the last year of the Kellen Moore era, right? And it's unfair to compare anybody to him, but he threw like this great soft, deep ball that was very, very catchable. And then Joe Southwood comes in after him, and it just wasn't the same. Like, he just did not throw the same deep ball. And then, a couple years later, Brett Rippon comes in and he threw a great deep ball. And so it's just something you can kind of take for granted when it's good. And it just hasn't been. It wasn't that great last year when it comes to attacking downfield for whatever reason.
As a senior, Austin Bolt, 2,271 yards of offense as a quarterback, 36 total touchdowns. He also had 1,391 rushing yards, 26 rushing touchdowns, 2 touchdowns while returning kicks and punts. And I know you obviously watched a lot of his action in high school, Jay. I mean,
Yeah.
he was just a man amongst boys. And he talked about that with us one of the days this spring, I think it was, where it was just a whole different level. Once you get, nothing against Idaho football, but once you get to Division I football, it's a lot different than going up against some of the local schools in the Boise area.
Yeah, but we talk about him switching positions at Boise State, and for the betterment of his high school football team, he was playing quarterback in high school, and there was never a chance that he was going to be a quarterback at the collegiate level.
Why was that?
He wanted a chance he wanted to help his team win games, and so his coach at the time, awesome guy, Coach Burton, he simplified things by saying, well, let's not risk not getting the ball in his hands by just snapping it to him every play.
Makes sense, yeah.
Straight up too. From them, I remember Austin as a sophomore on the boys basketball team over at Bora. The dude that was just like, why is this kid? Like, he's always on the ground. Like, after every loose ball, he's diving. Like, he is a tough kid that plays with a lot of energy and effort. And that's why, like, if this doesn't work for whatever reason, that won't be the reason it doesn't work. I mean, he always throws down. He does. He is just a tough kid. I remember at times you're looking at him coming off the football field in high school. His jersey's ripped. He just looks beat up. And he'd get back and he'd run back out there again, and do something amazing. So, great kid. Hopefully everything comes together for him this year, and he can be more of an impact on offense than just kind of special teams and stuff at times.
And I guess that brings us back to the question of the day. I mean, is this the year? Will Austin Bolt finally have an impact? I mean, do you think with whether it be just the lack of receiver depth, his development, whatever, I mean, going into fall camp, do you think this is the year he finally is able to? I'm not saying he's going to have 50 catches and 10 touchdowns, but I mean, do you expect him to be a part of this offense?
What are we setting the over-under at? I'll go 15.5 catches.
I'd go over that.
Yeah.
Barely. I think it's close. I mean, that's barely. That's about one a game. If he's your number 3 receiver, obviously you have Steph Cobbs. You would assume that Davis Cutter starts out above him, and then I think he's battling with probably Billy Bowens and some of those guys for that number 3 receiver spot, maybe the slot receiver spot, or on the outside if Davis is inside. That's probably a fairly good number considering he had 0 this year. But right. It wouldn't shock me if you look up and he has 25 catches and 4 touchdowns or something. I mean, again, is he only gonna play once to drive and just go deep, or are they going to use him in some other ways? I think that probably impacts how he's going to be used. But I don't think that. There were times that and fans know that it didn't matter how many receivers on the field; they were throwing it to Khalil Shakir. So the fact that Khalil's gone, I do think you're going to see the numbers spread out a little more.
And I will say. I don't know if this helps or hurts, his potential production, but in this offense, they kind of like to roll for series at a time with wide receivers. I mean, they will rotate in if the series gets long or if there's a matchup or something they want to take advantage of, but it's not like the old times, in the Brian Harsin era with all the shifts and motions, and they would substitute packages, players regularly. And that's not as much the case anymore in this specific offense that Tim Plow runs. They kind of get dudes out there and they try to, run a few plays as fast as they can, and they try to gas that opposing defense. So I don't know whether that helps or hurts the case of a guy that is good at, running vertically and you throw him in there for a play. I don't know how many times they just threw a guy on the field for one play at wide receiver last year.
Yeah. Hey, our co-host Naismith Raines told you about him. A quick thank you again. Lithia Ford of Boise. Compare, shop, finance. You can do it all online. LithiaFordBoise.com. I'm actually in the need for a new vehicle here pretty soon. I'll be heading to Lithia Ford. So check them out. Big sponsors of the show. We appreciate them. Rowpaint.com, obviously, title sponsor of our program. They've worked on my garage, my basement, or I always say basement, my garage, my patio. They do great work. So check them out. If you need some siding touched up outside your house, inside, they can do residential, interior, exterior painting, as well as their concrete coating. So check them out, rowpaint.com. Naismith mentioned the sunglasses I have from ICCU. They do have great sunglasses, but that's not the main thing about Idaho Central Credit Union. They can hook you up personal, banking, business banking, or our business and personal banking with Bronco Nation News, and the Rains family is with ICCU. So check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a location probably on a corner near you. They've got them all over the valley, so check them out. We appreciate their support. Transportation compliance service as well. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, a fresh start, they're the folks you need to check out. GCS, they can help you get all the permits, all the things you want to do, get you out towing that first load. It may sound crazy to you, but truck driving is a great industry right now with the pandemic. So it's easy, and it's a pretty lucrative business. So check it out, transcomservice.com. And our other major sponsor, we do want to thank Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. Father's Day is coming up. Check out all that Father's Day stuff. They got all the Nike gear and shirts and all that great stuff. So Father's Day collection, perfect at the Blue and Orange Store. And again, the blueandorangestore.com. Free shipping on any order over $40. So you can go online, have it delivered anywhere in the world. Free shipping over $40. Or if you're in Boise, you just go check them out at the Boise Town Square Mall at the Blue and Orange Store. And I was thinking about it, Jay, as we kind of wrap this up here for the last couple minutes. There was a time where Austin Bolt could have been Mountain West champion on the basketball team last year, too. He told me a very interesting story about how he went out and actually played pickup at NNU. And I believe it was Roberto Bergeson that actually set that up before he was coaching up at he was just trying to get some local kids to go play pickup. And I believe he had, I think it was Berto, might have been Clint Hordeman. It was one of the former players. And they set it up out there at NNU, and you had Acott and Kejab and just some other local players from some of the local schools. And it was Kejab and Acott in particular that was like, who is this guy? He's like, oh, you play football at Boise State? He's like, you could play, you could hoop, man. And they didn't have a ride home. And so Austin Bolt ended up giving these guys a ride home all the way back to Boise from NNU after the pickup game. They start talking. They're like, oh, we'll talk to our coaches and see. One thing leads to another. He got invited and ends up playing in like the evening pickup games with the basketball team. He's holding his own. A lot of the players are reporting back to the coaches like, this dude's legit. Like, you need to consider putting him on the team. My understanding is the basketball team extended the invitation for him to join as a walk-on, but the football team wasn't quite sure. And then I think Austin realized, like, hey, this could really screw up my football chances here, and if I end up playing basketball. But there was a time where we could have been talking about Austin Bolt also playing on the basketball team. That's the type of athlete that he is.
I mean, I know like in high school he scored, he did everything, but there's one thing about a guy like Austin, what he could probably offer to the Boise State men's basketball team. If you can play defense, a coach will find you minutes, right? Like if you can play high effort, rebound, play defense, a coach will find you a few minutes a game. And I don't know, he probably could have been that. He's like 6'4", probably a wingspan that's longer than his height. You know,
I heard he was tenacious on the glass too. Good rebounder.
He probably could have given a few minutes, but I don't know. Like he came to the realization of is that worth potentially more on the football field? Probably not, at least not right now.
You know, and he was frustrated with all the different positions they were moving him to, and he was going to defensive end for a couple weeks. And I think he kind of was like, okay, well, maybe who knows? If I actually have a team that wants me here, maybe I'll go play basketball. And then I think, he did realize, like, well, I don't know if the coaches flat out said this, but like, you go play basketball, your football career here is probably done. I mean, you're not going to raise yourself up the depth chart. This was a big offseason for him, knowing those guys were leaving, needing to be in there. And if he's missing all of the January and February workouts leading into spring ball because he's practicing with basketball, in the end, that probably wouldn't have helped him. But just the fact that the basketball team, even as a walk-on, was willing to accept him as a member of the team, I think does show his athleticism and talent that he could potentially be a D1 athlete in two sports.
Yeah, I mean, there's another local athlete with a similar but opposite story, if that makes sense. Like Ben Ford, he originally signed to play baseball at the University of Washington, but he loved football, right? And so he wanted the chance to also maybe walk on the UW football team. But the baseball team didn't love that idea because of how much time football would steal from, the sport he's getting a scholarship in, baseball. And so that's just the exact same thing that, or kind of circumstance, I guess, that Austin was battling with potentially playing basketball and football. And I get why one coach or the other wouldn't love that idea,
Yeah, on a much different scale. I know my alma mater, KU, has a running back that freshman running back last year that played football and baseball, and that was the only reason he committed to KU was that he told both coaches agreed that they would let him do it, and he said, okay, I'll come to KU then. So both took advantage of it. But if it was one, then the other, I could see why that could be different. But Perry saying, I love the name Bolt. There's a nickname in there somewhere. It is kind of for how fast he is that Bolt kind of does fit him. But no, I think it's a big year for him, Jay. And I think that for a lot of reasons, combination, as we talked about, just guys leaving and the opportunity. And I think receiver fits him best. I'm excited to see what Austin Bolt can do this year. So he is question 24 on our list of the questions. And we'll have, I believe, John Mallory tomorrow. We do have Leighton Vander Esch coming up as well this week. We'll talk a little bit of beach volleyball with their coach as they move into the Southland Conference as well. So we do have some non-countdown stuff in the works for this week. We'll have Prater and Johnny joining us later as well. But Jay, you're off to somewhere warm, hopefully.
Yeah, we board the plane early tomorrow morning, heading to Hawaii. Never been.
What part?
Kauai.
That's where we went for Christmas, man.
Everybody tells me that's like the more relaxed, chill island. So
it is. Well, we'll talk off air. I'm going to get some tips on which town you're staying in and some of the stuff to do. But we went out there, and unfortunately, we went during the December. Actually, you think that's the great time, but it actually rained almost every day we were there. It wasn't great, but you're probably going to get way better weather there. But I was in Kauai getting ready to board a flight, like literally that night on a red eye to come back to Tucson for the Arizona Bowl, the Barstool Bowl. That thankfully got canceled. I didn't have to worry about it, and so I was very happy for that. But yeah, you're gonna love that, man. That's pretty cool, man. Good for you and the family, and good luck on the flight there, man. I don't know if you've flown much with the little one, but that could be fun.
She killed it on the way up to Seattle, so I think she'll be okay.
You gonna do the helicopter ride? Karen did it. I said I'll be the photographer and watch from down low. Not gonna. I didn't want to mess with that, but I was.
I'm not big on heights, but I've been in a helicopter once. It wasn't bad.
Okay. Well, there's a hike you can do. There's one of the photos from our hike, looking back down into the water there. It was an amazing time. So happy for you guys. That'll be fun. And maybe next week we'll talk to you. Maybe we'll wait till the following week and make it up then. We'll figure it out down the road. But appreciate it, Jay. Thanks for letting my kids jump on at the beginning there. And
best part of the show.
Yo, no argument with that. The viewership went down as soon as they left. So maybe I got to figure out a kids podcast or something. They did pretty good here. My parents are out doing some errands, so they've been hanging out in the basement here, and it was pretty good. So safe travels to you, Jay. I'll be back in the Boise studio tomorrow, I believe, with John Mallory, and we'll keep this thing rolling. So take care, Jay. Appreciate it.
Sounds good, bud. Have a good day.
Yep, you too. Jay Tust, KTVB Sports Director. We appreciate his time, taken away from his family time to join us. So that was nice of Jay. We appreciate it. Naismith, did you want to finish off the show here? Was there anything else you wanted to say? Come on back, bud. Remember, you wanted to do this? Come on back. We have Naismith Raines has one more thing he wants to say here, folks. We'll give the mic back to him.
If you subscribe and like, you have a chance to win a free large pizza from Westside Pizza. And I also do like Westside Pizza. It's really good.
Perfect, bud. So what do they got to do?
So they have to subscribe and like.
On YouTube?
And you can also win golf things.
Free round of golf at Timberstone.
A free round of golf at Timberstone.
Okay. Well, tell everybody thanks for watching the show.
Thank you for watching this show. And once again, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. See you guys all at the next show.
At ICCU, to make a difference, it takes just one connection. A friendly face. An open ear. A helping hand. And then something amazing happens. We find out that we're better together. This is what Idaho Central does in our communities every day. We help our members with the small things and big dreams. This is what believing in you is all about. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.